Meeting to order. Any correspondence?
No. I don't think we have anything, do we? Okay.
Approval of the agenda. Do we have any additions or that need to be added or changes?
We have an addition to the action items, and it's audit services.
So 5.3,
Yeah.
approve a new auditor.
Well, kind of.
Okay, audit services, look good.
So I move we approve the agenda as amended with the addition of 5.3.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Alrighty, approval of February 27th, regular meeting.
I'll make some move to approve it, the minutes for the 27th, February 27th meeting.
Second?
I think you're the only one that was here.
Oh, that's right, I just looked down at the name and said, hey, I have to second this. Okay, I second it. We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. That's funny. Board reports. What's happening in Adel?
Going pretty smoothly, they're getting ready to go on their annual school trip. Doing a whole big circle of North and East Oregon and Idaho to how beef production is done, from the feedlots to the packing plants and to the sale yards. And
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Are you being Grandview? Is that what?
yeah, they're going to Grandview, and then the new Simplot feedlot, or Simplot, CNS is what it's called, but Simplot owns a packing plant in Kuna,
Okay.
Idaho,
Wow.
and the Ontario auction. Some other fun place too. I think there's a water park involved somewhere around it.
Oh, yeah. I met your preschool teacher, the gal that
Oh,
owns the
good.
restaurant at,
Jessie?
yeah, Jessie at the lake. What were we doing? Strategic planning
Oh,
for the
yeah.
county. Yeah, it was nice to meet her, and she really loves her job.
Wasn't she?
That'd be good.
They had their cowboy poetry thing, and I thought she did a good job of, what, she have like 8 little ones? Like opening a box of cats and keeping them all lined up.
Did the kids,
Herding cats, huh?
did the kids do their own poetry, or did they read? Previously.
The younger kids, what do you say, the preschool and the K3,
Yeah, everybody
they
from class.
read a poem that they had picked out.
Oh, fun.
The Adel students, they all wrote their own poem.
Wow.
Yeah, theirs was all original, so.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that was fun.
And each one of them had, well, some of them had
2 or 3,
Three,
and
some of them
some,
had 3,
everybody
yeah.
had 1, and some had.
two,
Oh, wow.
some had 3, yeah. They
Great.
had a couple of group poems where they
Uh-huh.
kind of had different parts of the poem that they
Oh.
read and stuff, so,
Oh, fun.
Cute.
yeah.
Board report. We had our Early Learning Hub state audit on KPI, which affects the school-age kids that Jack works on that grant. And you have 1 out of 4, and we averaged 3.5 to 4 on the 7 areas. And we were complimented that for the diversity in the 3 counties, Douglas, Klamath, and Lake, we work very well together and find ways of making it work differently in each county, but supporting the goals of it. And they would like to see that across the state, but it's not that easy
Wow.
to play nice in the sandbox. So that was good news.
That's nice, that's a
Yeah.
nice compliment.
Yeah. Any updates from you?
No.
No?
No, this is it. This board's doing great.
Any
That's my
updates from North Lake?
Nothing that I've got right now.
How you guys doing, you got any predictions on your bond levy?
Honestly, I don't know about now, but I left in February and I got home about a week and a half ago from California, so I've kind of been out of the loop.
Oh, okay, all right.
There's a lot of, I feel good about it. You know, the people that corner me on it are all naysayers, but we're not going to change their mind anyway. So, but I feel really good about the people I talk to, most of the people I, talk to.
Yeah, good,
So I'll keep my fingers crossed.
yeah.
Financial report.
Okay, so you guys have the check register and the budget printout. You do not have a financial summary this month, sorry about that. It's been really hectic getting budgets prepared and all of that, but things are going well. We also did the audit RFP, obviously that's an agenda item later on on the docket, but we had to go out twice on the audit RFP because the first time we got one response and it was for $85,000.
Oh,
And currently we
For
pay
what?
85
For an audit?
for all 6 entities, the ESD
Oh,
and the 5
geez.
districts. Currently we
Holy
pay
smokes.
$40,000, so
yeah, that's
we
over
couldn't
double.
Over
quite
double.
go with that,
Oh,
so
that's
we
crazy.
reopened it and
Wow.
got better pricing, but it's still significantly more than what we pay.
Why is that?
So the way that one of the people phrased it is that, especially in schools, a lot of times people are promoted from the ground level up, and so they know what they do, but they don't know why they do it, and that can make for some real big messes. And so when you have a new audit firm coming in, they're bidding blind on it. They don't know if it's gonna take 100 hours or 10 hours. They don't know what they're getting. So, a lot of times, the first time around, they bid really high. So what we'll be presenting later is a maximum amount. Hopefully will be lowered when it actually comes down to it.
But
So they
they
will-
can lower it. I mean,
Yeah, from what they've said.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They don't look at past audits to see that we don't have a whole lot of
Well,
messes?
so the firm that did come in at 85, they came on the second round. You know, I told them you're too expensive, but feel free to rebid. They did call our previous audit and they talked to me and they said we feel much more comfortable to price it down a little bit and all of that, but, yeah.
So I know I missed last meeting, but how come we lost Oster?
Oster got a new client, a large client, so they're doing the finances for the Harney School District up there in Burns. And they're already short-staffed anyway,
Okay.
and so they dropped a lot of clients. They dropped us and the county, Lake County. They also dropped Grant. I can't remember if it was the Grant School District the year before.
Just because
so
they have Harney?
Just, well, and they're short-staffed. It's really hard to find
Yeah.
qualified staff, so, and the travel involved.
Do you have to be a CPA, is that what they employ?
To be an auditor, the full-on auditor, you don't have to be one of their team, but even that is hard, yeah. It's not a very exciting job.
have you heard if the county's having any luck finding anybody, or
They did find somebody, and I believe they're signing contracts
they want to share? Or?
soon. Well, that's one of the.
I was gonna say, is that one of them that did on
Yeah.
there?
Okay.
It's not very exciting, did you say?
That kind of job, yeah.
Well, you're not kidding. I would think that they would know that as they inch
As they-
their way through the
College.
learning
Yeah.
process, but maybe it takes them by
Yeah.
surprise if they didn't.
You know, when you gets right down to it, not everybody gets to be a forensic accountant, so.
No.
How did the extravaganza come out?
Less than stellar.
Okay.
There was not near the turnout that they had hoped for.
Yeah.
And so, I don't remember what the final dollar amount was, but it was significantly less than what they made last year.
But they're still,
They're still solvent and yeah, doing
And
fine
on the
that way.
positive, okay.
Yeah, in fact, Leanne just told me yesterday that she believes that they've been granted, but she hasn't got the final paperwork, but she believes that they've been granted a $20,000 grant for this year, or for this next year and the following year. And so she was pretty excited about that. I don't remember who it was from, but, so that's $40,000 for the next 2 years, so. Yeah, so she's getting things and they're still solvent and we're getting there, so, yeah.
Superintendent's report.
Okay, you've got that in front of you, and it's really lengthy, and some of it's just, a lot of it's legislative stuff that's been going on. I think I gave it to you, it's the second section, there you go. So, just some things that have been going on, we're really watching the legislative stuff, and supposedly this week, they're supposed to be voting on some of the school funding. The Ways and Means Committee came in at 8.8 billion, where the governor's budget was 8.9 billion, and the current talk is they're at 9.0 right now, billion, which is really exciting. So we'll see if that goes through. Some of it's tax-based, and so they'll have to wait and see. They'll put it into their budget, but if the tax gets turned down or whatever they have to do to make it happen, I think they can force a tax through if they have the supermajority, which they do in both the House and the Senate, but they would have to get the supermajority in both of those and then have the governor sign it. So we'll see. Otherwise, it may have to go up for a vote with the people, and you know how people in Oregon vote on taxes. Hence Measure 5. So the House Bill 3075 finally was voted out of the healthcare committee. That's the one that they took away 2 years ago in 2017, and that was allowed for double coverage for people for the insurance, and then also for the opt-out incentive for teachers and public employees. And so it's looking like that will go through, but it's one of those that it does have some cost to it, to repeal the old law, and they're going to probably slip it in as an addendum to another bill at the last minute, kind of a thing. So we'll see. If it doesn't happen, I'm going to be not very happy, because we've done a lot of work. Will Cahill and I, we've went to this Capitol. We testified in front of the Health Committee, and then we also went and talked to Senator Reschke 2 weeks ago, I think it was. Talked with him in his office, and so, I think we've got support for it, but we'll have to wait and see. The fiber project is not going well. It has had some setbacks and some more setbacks and some more setbacks. And the last we knew was they were moving forward with it, but they were waiting for approval from BLM and that kind of stuff to be able to change their route. Instead of going straight to Adele on the Surprise Valley poles, they were going to cut across over to the Cut Across Road, bury it, and then go down over to Plush, and then attach to the poles from Plush to Adele, because those poles are newer poles. The Surprise Valley poles from Lakeview down to Adele are like 70 years old, and they won't allow them to attach any more weight to those poles, so they don't believe in the integrity of those poles. So in trying to get those things approved, they were really ambitious and really thinking it was going to happen, and the BLM came back and said, no way, no how are you putting any poles up on our land, because the sage grouse, and one of those poles would become a roost for some type of hawk or something else. And so they said, nope, no way. So they said, but we will probably let you run it underground. But before you can do that, we have to do an environmental study.
Sure.
So all of these things, it's just kind of been a perfect storm. So we have, on the behalf of Hunter and us, because really the money goes through us, we've applied for another extension. We think we've got a pretty good case because of the sage grouse, and this was something we could not anticipate. We would have known this kind of stuff. So we're hoping that we'll get an extension. If we don't get an extension, I don't know where it's going to go from there. Sarah, what do you?
We've got plans B and C already in the
Okay.
works.
Do we? Okay. So anyway, it's been a mess. It's just been an absolute mess. They've been trying to make it happen, and they've been running into roadblocks left and right.
Okay.
And so anyway, we're not gonna give up, we're gonna keep pushing. Hopefully we'll get it there, but I don't think it's, well, I know it's not gonna get there by June 30th, so.
Yeah.
It'll probably be the following summer before it actually gets accomplished. I have on your update of teacherage, I mean, just so you guys are aware, Larry Ferguson, he moved out of the teacherage at Adele, and so we went in and had a bunch of work done, tore out all the flooring, they put it all new, laminate flooring in the house. It looks fantastic. Have you seen it since they got done?
No, I haven't gone in.
Yeah, looks fantastic. They put laminate throughout the whole house. Replaced the bathtub in the master bathroom. Replaced all of the windows in the house, so those are all brand new, nice vinyl windows. Replaced some rotted flooring in the back door. Got that all fixed. Put new doors in front and back. So it really, yeah, it's really looking good, and I think it's just about ready to have somebody move, or Callie is actually gonna be the one moving in, so. But anyway, so that was another project we're working on, so. Let's see here. Will and I went to PACE Day, PACE being, the insurance, we went to that. Had some interesting things. One of the things that we, there's a lot of paperwork and stuff, was contracting with third parties. And I was kind of glad being superintendent of an ESD, because we don't really, if I do contract with a third party, a plumber, electrician, that kind of stuff, I don't have to worry about the background checks and that kind of stuff, because we don't have any students here. So I was really kind of like, oh, I'm so glad I'm an ESD superintendent, not that, so. Went to the off the record meeting in Eugene. Will and I went to that, and there were a number, about, I think there was like, I wrote down 6 statewide. There was superintendents that were retiring, coming up, so that looks pretty good. There is May 8th, they had a good conversation about May 8th, which is the day that a lot of teachers are going to be walking out of work or not showing up to work in support of additional funding for schools, kind of a rally to get the legislation to do something. Doesn't seem to be affecting anybody but the large metropolitan areas. All the rural districts, from what I've talked to, I think they've been trying to get Klamath riled up and get them to do something, but most all it's just Medford and Salem and Hillsborough and Beaverton, that kind of stuff, Portland Public. They're going to be walking out, and a lot of them have canceled school that day in anticipation of that, and they're going to just add an additional day onto school. So, and I'm sure that'll work fabulous, because kids will be excited about coming to school one additional year in the summer.
There
So,
goes attendance.
Yeah, exactly. So, another thing coming up that we're going to be, as an ESD, we're going to be applying for, or being part of the application process, I should say, is a thing they're calling the Educator Advancement Council. And basically what it is in the past they have done grants for school districts to get staff development or mentoring, or different things like that. And it was great for those larger metropolitan school districts that had staff that was able to sit down and write the grants and man the grants and do all that stuff. So they found out that it's not working, and which I thought was impressive, that the state figured out that it wasn't working. And so they have created this Educator Advancement Council, and it's 26 people, and they've been meeting for, I don't know, I think almost a year now. They've gone around the state, and they've looked at different needs and things like that around the state. And what they've come up with is doing a regional support system. And so they are going to be having these regional areas that will then be the hub of helping the districts to be able to support with staff development or those kinds of things. And so the ESDs are going, hello, that's what we do. Isn't that what we do already? So anyway, the state's we have to put out an RFP, and so I think it opens up this week. So the ESDs they want it to be smaller. They want like 8 hubs. And we have 19 ESDs. So what we've done as the ESD collective is we've created the 8 regional hubs, and then we would be one of the people that they support then through our ESD. So we kind of broke the ESDs into a larger entity and then smaller entities. So it'll be interesting to see,
Yeah.
you know, how that comes through, so.
Department of Education in
Yeah.
Oregon did this.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. Yeah, I'm watching,
A nice way to put it.
yeah. And just something for you guys, information, Senate Bill 415. I don't know where it's at right at this moment, but it was, I got some information on that. Basically, it would add you folks to become mandatory reporters, if that passes. And so, board members, public, right now, charter school governing bodies, so they're boards, which I don't know why they separated you guys from them, but that they would just create where you guys were mandatory reporters, which most of you guys are anyway.
Yeah.
So, other than Jim, he can report horse abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do
so,
we have board insurance? We do, don't we? So would
Yeah.
that be,
for what?
well,
For,
if you become a mandatory reporter because you're a member of the board, then your role has changed.
yes and no, I mean, it would just be if you were privy to any kind of child abuse or anything like that going on, you would be required to report it, but,
And if you didn't,
But
what
they all
are
would
they?
anyways.
right, yeah, you would be, in something like that, where you're a mandatory reporter, you actually, correct me if I'm wrong, folks, they're personally liable, right?
I kind of think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I know I am personally
And it's
liable if I don't do
24/7,
it.
if you see something,
Yeah.
even when you're not at work, you're supposed to report.
Right,
Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't have to know if it, I mean, if you
Yeah.
suspect, call, they're the ones that investigate. So
And that's the
it's
key to the
better
whole thing.
Yeah.
is if you
it's better
suspect,
to do it.
call, it's not your job to do any investigation, you just say, hey, I've witnessed this, I suspect this, and
Yeah,
that's all you have to do.
and stay on that line until now, they answer.
Yeah.
I think it might be better.
Yeah, that's what
Is it?
Estes was saying at our early hub, that, and that must be miserable for you guys, because everyone's.
I'm not opposed to it,
complaining.
it's just that's an added liability as a board member,
Yeah, it is, yep.
which would then, as a board member, if you're insured as a board member,
Mhm.
So what would be the liability?
you get sued because somebody thinks you're wrong.
They
No,
can't.
They
you can't
can't
sue you for that.
No.
You
The
can't
only-
be sued.
The only thing you'd be liable for is if you were a witness to or you knew of some child abuse that was going on, and you did not report it.
Yes, you're much more liable
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
That
You,
way.
in good conscience.
Right,
Mhm.
Okay.
Say I have reason to believe and give the information, and if the screening unit says, yeah, that's a legal allegation, it gets
Yeah.
assigned, that's due diligence, that's
Yeah.
not.
yeah.
But I had to call Indiana the other day, and for the first time ever, I had to give them credit. It's as bureaucratic as any other state, and make it as hard as possible. But on their reporting, they talked about if you are calling knowing that you are providing false information, you can be prosecuted. Kind of give people who just want to make trouble for people.
Oh, really?
Which
That's nice.
is not very often.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It isn't.
interesting,
Usually it's like divorces,
yeah.
who was once,
Well, it'd be no
Prince
difference
Charming
in,
is now the devil personified.
yeah, it's no different than filing a false police report.
Exactly.
I mean, it's the same thing, you're
Yeah.
reporting to a state agency and then giving a false
Information
report.
that you know to be false, but it doesn't happen very often.
Yeah,
And you're much more liable for not reporting than you
Yeah.
are for reporting.
yeah,
But there's still a liability to be, if you are required to be a mandatory reporter. And you don't do it. I'm not saying I would never not do it.
Sure.
I'm
I-
just,
Yeah.
it's something to know
mhm.
what your responsibilities are.
Well, if it does pass, and if it does do that, we will do a mandatory reporter training at one of our
Yeah.
board meetings. So
Yeah.
you'll have all the information
Yeah.
updated.
Yeah.
You'll know exactly what you have to do.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm not gonna throw you to the wolves. Yeah, yeah. And really, I mean, I've been a mandatory reporter for 30 years, and you don't walk down the street going, "Is that what you
Yeah.
do?"
Right.
You know, I mean,
No.
you
Oh,
just,
yes, you do.
Well, it's just that, parents is something you do all the time.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're just
Yeah.
watching, I mean, so.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, that's mine.
All right.
Got that back on?
Information discussion items, this is you. Well, who's giving it? The superintendent evaluation survey results.
So I sent out I did the surveys, and sent those all out to the different staff, and we got back the surveys. So I wanted to let you guys take a look. You have the one, I gave you the one from our staff. That's a printout, that one there. That's the one that was from our staff. And it's not giving me.
It might take us. Pushing it automatically. There we go.
There, I love Macintosh. Okay, so, looking at that one, I was really pleased.
I was gonna say,
the-
it's quite complimentary.
Yeah, their staff, I think our staff is happy. I think feel like they're being treated well, and I think they enjoy their job. You know, that kind of thing, and I feel like, or they feel, I'm doing a good job of supporting them, that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I was real pleased with some of those things. Not to toot a horn or anything, but I just kind of, the last questions I put on there were something new I hadn't done in the past. The first, one of them was, what was your top reasons for enjoying working for Lake ESD? And I thought that was pretty interesting.
Nobody said the money. I noticed
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah.
you know, so I think the one on the page before that, it didn't.
Question 4, and then the answers are on the side.
There's a question.
So that's question 4, and the answers are on the back side.
Oh, okay, so, how satisfied are you with the support you receive from the superintendent in doing your job? And why, and then the why, there's some answers on the back. And, you know, as far as why they feel supported, I guess, or not, but.
I think timing is everything, though. There's about a month left before vacation. I would ask people in, say, the middle of October, how do you like your job?
Yeah.
Might be a little bit different, but boy, vacation's right around the
3 days
corner.
after getting back from your
Yes.
cruise? Yeah, that's great,
I
thanks.
love this job.
What a great idea, yeah, that's what I want to know. And then the other one I thought was the last question. I said, what improvements, if any, to Lake ESD would make working here even better? And so I thought they had some decent ideas and stuff. So,
I had the idea of putting a shower in, talking about just liability and opening up all kinds of
Yes.
complications.
I think it'd be for staff, is what I think, but, yeah.
In case they come from a home where bedbugs are, since bedbugs are infiltrating Lake County. Not quite
are
as bad
they?
as Medford, Klamath, yes.
Oh, really? We got cases of that?
Yes.
They're all over the place.
Well, they are, yes, they
Yeah.
just,
But I talked to a little girl who told me all about how to get rid of them.
Yeah.
oh,
You make a mixture of lavender, talcum powder, and vinegar, and make it so you can spray it,
uh-huh.
and you spray it, and you'll
Do we
see,
get rid of-
and
No,
you'll
it
see
doesn't.
them jump up.
There is a powder gel line.
This was done at a hotel. local
Yeah.
hotel,
But,
so-
I mean,
So
they're
do
so
they-
hard, and,
Is it
the
like lice that you
stern,
can get them from?
Well, what happens, I think, is they get into
to
mattresses,
do
and
it,
then you
it's like
sleep in a
$3,000.
bed, and you get on your pajamas, you
But
put your pajamas in your suitcase and you haul it
leave
home.
somewhere and you
Right.
realize they
In,
have it.
at
like
the
any of your clothes.
Klamath,
Dryer at
I
the
think
high
it was
heat
until
for an hour.
in the APD office, somebody had donated some clothing,
Oh,
and
okay.
it infiltrated they had to close the office and just, so we're being discouraged from taking,
Mhm.
Do they
like
bite
that.
like fleas? Is that-
Yeah, they will.
They will.
And they were saying
sit on
they
you.
bite and then they defecate. I saw a special one.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, well,
3 different things and then numb, so you don't feel it. but-
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
And they're tiny.
So on that positive
So
note,
before we leave this one, so
yeah,
your question number 2, or
Okay.
no, 3, question 3. Provides additional funding.
Right. If we receive additional funding, because this was done earlier, and we didn't know where our funding was gonna
Right.
be at and that kind of stuff, so,
What would your top 3 areas?
I didn't.
And then
Oh.
it just says 1, 2, 3, it doesn't say.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
what are
let me
they?
show you.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I see paid holidays.
it
is
was
one
hard
of
to
them.
try and
Yeah.
print
That's good.
so it could
I couldn't
go all
pass it.
together.
I
I
bet.
had to piece
The
things
show.
together,
For
so.
people to communicate,
Okay,
commute,
so,
I'm not sure. People
let's see, that
that
was
comes in
question
every-
3.
3.
So we have somebody who lives in Bend
That's what I wondered.
Yeah.
That comes down for the day or,
the week,
oh, where did they stay?
with a friend.
There we go.
She
Oh,
used to
wait.
rent a
Oh, yeah.
room or
Yeah.
rent a
Yeah.
small house, yeah.
First
Like,
hour,
we're gonna
that's
have to
wait.
wait.
I think the shower.
So,
Yeah, then she could sleep
I
on
was
the
just
couch
wondering what the
and not have to pay.
Choices were.
all right.
Yeah.
So, and there was no
Yeah.
choices, it was just open-ended, so they could write whatever they wanted.
Oh,
So for
I
the first, there was four responses for the first choice. One was special education, behavior management specialist, special education, and then occupational physical therapist. Us
Boy,
being able-
they're all over the place.
For us being
They're-
able to provide those services to the district.
They're-
So, and it's sped and special.
And that's one, let's see what the second one was. Four
Behavior
responses there, wraparound services, not sure what that is. Counselor, speech services, yeah, I think, see if we can focus that just a hair better. There you
That
go.
better?
Yeah,
Okay.
there you go. Okay, so the counselor, speech services, and early evaluation intervention services. And then let's look at responses for number 3. Building improvement, more meeting room. This is the biggest room we have, so.
Yeah.
A psychologist and speech therapy. So, we provide some of those
Wow.
things, but maybe I need to look into maybe our caseloads are too large, I don't know. Because these are all for current staff, so.
Yeah, well, and I'm just thinking, we have money that we're looking to get into a nurse.
Right.
Nurse isn't mentioned.
No,
that's a
no,
good one.
not by our staff, but it has been by the superintendent.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, I don't, I'm just saying that's
Right.
kinda interesting.
Yeah. So, that's,
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
I'll get back to my home. There we go. Why is it not giving me my dashboard? We'll go that way. Okay, then we go into, we've got some other surveys, and these were a little bit complicated, and we can go into as much depth or as little depth as you guys want. First off, the superintendent board survey, these were results from the superintendents. I think that was, yeah, I don't think we had anybody from the board. Why is this? I want to get rid of this thing. I want the paid feature.
Can you, what is learning more is?
I don't know, this is causing me
But
not to be able
sometimes
to.
if you click that, there might be a box that pops up and then you can hit X and then everything will go away. Say no thanks. Just kidding.
Okay. See, which district, so it looks like,
We didn't get here from Adele?
well, I'm Adele. So, and I'm Plush too, so I guess I should have answered. He's doing fantastic.
really?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, below it.
Best one and best, yeah, best I've ever seen. So are you satisfied with the communication between the ESD superintendent and your district administration and board directors? So it's like I had 2 of them say extremely, 1 very. Are you satisfied with the use of targeted, what am I doing? What is it doing? Targeted dollars, early learning, enrichment
Yeah.
funds, instructional support. So as far as the superintendents are concerned, they're very happy with what we're doing. Are you satisfied with the ESD's resolution services, programs for children with special needs, instructional and curricular support, technology, administrative, and support services? What services, if any, do you think we
Yeah,
could,
no kidding.
Superintendent get from this?
could be enhanced? And let's see, we didn't get any comments.
Well, they commented up above, very satisfied, that's,
Yeah.
those are the highest, yeah. that's
And
great.
then, has the ESD superintendent been responsive to your district's needs? And again, 2 extremely and 1 very.
Nice.
What within the ESD organization is working well, and what is an area needing improvement? And so, working well, we have too many ads. We don't pay for this.
Mhm.
SurveyMonkey is extremely expensive, but they can give you the minimal one for free.
Yeah,
Otherwise, it's like $25 a month per user with a minimum of 3 users.
Holy smokes, that's a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. Let's see, doing well, it says, responsiveness across the board, everything, thoughtful allocations of resources, so that's good. And then suggestions for improvement, looks like we had 1, keep up with what is happening, so. And then, if increased funding comes from the legislative session, what would be your top 3 services you would like to see the ESD provide? And technology services, continue to max special education services and professional development. And then mental health,
yes,
school nursing, special education services. And then 3, administrative support services. So.
What is that?
You know, I'm gonna ask them the next time I meet with them. My interpretation of that would be being able to assist the administration with whatever it is they may be needing. Like, for example, if you have new principals or new vice principals, being able to mentor them, that kind of stuff.
Well, that says administrative and support services,
Yeah.
not administrative support services.
Oh, that's true, yes, okay.
So, which is still
Yeah.
pretty ambiguous.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to ask
I
them on
thought
that.
it was
Yeah.
another
yeah.
helper,
Yeah,
another,
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
not
what
sure.
those support services are that they need.
yeah.
Yeah. So that was the ones from the superintendents, and then the Adele, Paisley, North Lake, and Plush folks. Okay, what is your position? Oops. Looks like mostly teachers. Which school are you affiliated with? Looks like just Adele, and then a number of rather not share.
Huh.
Well, they're small districts, so
Yeah.
we got 3 from Adele and 3 rather not shares. Rate the quality of each program. Special education, let's see here, what was my coloring again?
It's down below.
The-
Keep going.
The green is, don't know, right? Are these, because these are upside down.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so
NA.
green is NA, then it goes up to the orange is the gray.
Excellent.
Okay,
Okay.
so ESD administrative special ed, special ed administration, that would be me. Looks like I have 1 in the middle. And then ESD speech services, which I'm very pleased about this because, you know, we had the traveler that was doing it via video.
Mhm.
I really anticipated this being we got to get hit pretty hard on that.
It was
Better than I
working.
anticipated.
Yeah,
I thought it was not gonna be as good, so.
good.
ESD school psychologist, looks like all fairly well. And then regional autism services, and this one is another one that surprised me, because we have been having to use regional and not, in the past, we've had an autism specialist here in the ESD, and we've had to use the regional, which they don't get out here as much, they're more consultation
Mhm.
type of way of doing it. So,
That's
I
great.
thought it was,
Yeah.
I thought that's pretty good, got all positives. Quality of each program, ESD instructional, what was that, instructional? ESD instructional and curriculum support, okay, so that would be mainly, what we provide for them for, curriculum support and that kind of stuff. Amy would be kind of the primary person in that area. ESD, new teacher mentoring, okay, which kind of surprised me that there was some poor in there, because she works really hard working with those new teachers. And so,
I thought would be maybe not enough.
I was gonna say
Maybe
maybe
not
because they
enough.
feel it's not enough time or
not enough time
something.
with it, yeah,
Yeah,
might be. I've learned a lot I learned a lot on the first time I did this. I learned a lot on the second time I've done this. Because there's a lot of people that have answered some of the questions and not all of the questions, and I requested that if you put, a pour on anything, I requested that you give a comment.
yeah.
Most people didn't do that, so I'm going to go back next year and I'm gonna say, no, you don't get to move to the next question, you haven't answered the last question.
Yeah.
And then the other is, if you put a pour, they don't get to go anywhere else until they
Until
give a
they-
comment.
Yeah, that's
You
good.
know, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna
Because
force it.
you can't improve on it if you don't
Ex-
know.
that's
Yeah.
what my thing is, yeah.
I think the other thing is there's so many new teachers.
Yeah.
So she's spread pretty
Yeah.
thin this
She was
year.
spread
yeah.
fairly thin, this is probably her biggest year in
Yeah,
quite a while.
and that might be why it's.
Yeah,
the
District
poor.
7 had quite a few. Our threat assessment team that has been very well received by the administration. I was talking to them yesterday, and they're thankful, very thankful that that's going on. School messenger, again, I don't know why we got some fair, because North Lake would be the only ones that have it. Adel and Plush, they have so few students, they don't have school messenger. But school messenger is an auto dialer, so they put in a statement, they can either record it or they can type it in, and it will call everybody in the district, or whatever you have on your list, and it will call them all within about 5 minutes. And District 7, they just had, what was it, what was their lockout for?
It was the gun.
Oh, no, it was the,
Phone call?
we had the phone calls, we had 5 different people in town, had somebody with a Mexico
right.
phone number, called them and said, we have your daughter, we've kidnapped your daughter, or your child, I think they said. And in the background, there was a screaming child, and freaked everybody out. It was totally a scam. And so what they did is they went into a lockdown until the police was going on, that kind of stuff. But just that quickly, they were going to lockdown, and they did the school messenger and got a phone call out to every single parent. And the district office said they got phone calls for about 15 minutes after that showed up. Other than that, they didn't get any other phone calls, which is unheard of. I mean, you go into lockdown, and because kids are being kidnapped, kind of a scenario, yeah, it was amazing. But she said she had probably about 15 or 20 phone calls, because it lasted about 15 minutes. But so it's working very well, and everybody has said that they really appreciate it and stuff. So I think that was a real positive thing that we purchased for the school districts. I used it when I was a superintendent at Fall City.
Does it go out in 2 languages or just English?
It goes out whatever you
Because-
put it in.
Okay, because I
So-
just had, I was talking to, when we talked at the Early Learning Hub,
Right.
are we reaching those at most needs?
Yeah,
And I had some feedback from the bilingual community, and I was
Right.
gonna talk to Will about that. And that was one of the issues
yeah,
of them not understanding when a call comes out, because there was one about a shooter, and they were in paranoid mode, calling other people saying, what does this mean, what does this
right,
mean?
right.
So I just
Huh.
wondered, so I'll talk to Will.
That's a good question, because I
Yeah.
don't, I'm sure that, I'm almost positive they have not put it out in another language, so.
Okay.
Which they definitely can do. I would be curious, I'd have to call to ask the question, is if I typed it in Spanish, would the machine read it in Spanish? Or would it just do bad job in English trying to read
Oh,
Spanish.
I see,
I don't
I
know.
see, yeah.
I mean, it's a computer, you know, if you've heard
Yeah.
computerized
Yeah.
voices.
Yeah.
Sure.
When you type it in English, it reads it and it
Right,
says what it is. I
right.
don't know if it would do that.
Yeah, because if it interprets it and then reads it, it could be some bad interpretation
Right.
with words,
Yes.
Some of
yeah.
them go
Exactly.
out in text.
Um,
If you can send the text, you get to send it.
yeah, I don't know that
Yeah.
it's sending text messages.
Yeah, I'll ask
Right
him, yeah, that was just something.
So it's an
that came
actual
up.
phone call, it's not like the Amber Alert thing?
Right.
No,
called-
it's an actual phone call, yeah.
Because I think one parent I talked to got a text, like at 5 in the morning.
That was the one I was going to
That
say.
was weather.
That was a weather
I
one.
think,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was,
And so
that's
that's
what I've
different.
heard, it's
Right.
like 5 in
Okay.
the morning, 5:30 in the
Yeah.
morning.
Yeah,
Okay, so this is
Yeah,
different
yeah, by
than that.
5:30,
Yeah,
yeah.
or at least awake.
yeah. Well, it's one of those things, it's like, if we were calling it at 5:30 and it was a negative thing, then, you know, people would be upset. But because we're calling at 5:30 and they're like, yay, don't have to go to school, yay,
Right,
you know, I'm going back to bed. Yeah, so,
Yeah.
But this is
people-
different than,
Are you able to
that's-
hear
Is that
what we're
right?
talking about on the survey?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just checking in.
All right, the next one was our ESD internet connectivity, and I'm thinking that this one here is probably from Plush. They're not good. I was interesting to see, I'm hoping that these two people were the administration, because not anybody from these groups would really know about the E-rate and stuff, so. And then the other one is the Khajiit hotspots. And it was surprised that there was a negative. I don't know why, because it's a hotspot that kids can take home and use the internet.
Yeah,
Why would that be poor? So I wasn't quite sure on that one.
yeah. Who old?
Who's responding to that? Is that question?
Yeah,
Let's see here.
or, yeah, because if you don't answer poor, is it because they're
Yeah.
not using it once they take it home?
Yeah, I don't
Is there
know.
not enough to take home? Yeah.
Where'd I go?
Oh.
That's not parents, right, or
no.
No, these were staff.
staff?
Yeah, this is staff. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, there it is, okay. Yeah, I don't know, I'd have to drill down and see what that person, where
But
they're from.
that says one person.
One person,
One.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say, 'cause in Adel, there are a couple parents who think it's wrong
Oh, yes, there are. Yeah,
To take it home?
to take that home and they can have internet service.
yeah.
Because it makes
I think it's just not understanding how,
more vulnerable about what your kids can
Yeah.
access.
you know, just what they can look up, but it's totally policed. And
Yeah, the Khajiits are filtered, with a school style filter on them, so. Quality of each program, the ESD administration, or administrative support, that's me, so all fairly positive, some fairs. Our truancy officer, again, that's me. I feel like, I've been doing pretty good this year. I've gone out and I've collected up, let's see, 3 kids from home, rousted them out of bed and brought them to school. And I've sent out multiple letters, probably 10 letters out to families this year, so.
Are they effective, the letter?
Yes and no. Because the truancy officer definition is so defined, I have to have 8 unexcused absences in a 4-week
To send
period
out the letter.
before I kick in. And so that's, you gotta be pretty chronically absent to be
Wow.
doing
Yeah.
that.
What was the reaction, rousting them out of bed?
One little boy, I've rousted him out twice, and the principals at the high school, they rousted him out once. And he's got all kinds of excuses and stuff, and it was pretty funny, but this last time, he said he forgot to come to school.
Yeah.
And I chewed him out.
Is that kind of like
I just-
forgetting to come to an ASD?
Yeah, it's similar, very similar, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put it in the exact same category.
What was the reaction of parents? Was there-
Oh, mom's totally supportive. In fact, mom called, she's called 2 different times and said, I can't get him out of bed, I can't get him to come to school, would you come help?
Yay,
And
that's
we've done it
good.
twice, so, I think I need to talk to Dan at the high school and find out how it's been since the last time I got him, because it was just last week, how he's been this week. But I chewed him out pretty good and explained to him that this is not an option. You will come to school. It's not an option. You have to come to school, you know?
What grade is he in?
7th grade.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
so,
He needs to go.
Yeah. ESD homeschool coordination, we're doing well there. I think we had, one person have knowledge. But see, here's an example. If we had 6 people answer the question, okay, and so we've got the green bar, well, actually, excuse me, 10 people. We've got the green bar. So the people here were answering the not applicable question, where in some places well, the next survey I show you, they didn't do that. The copy shop, these folks don't use it a whole lot, so, but what they do, I guess one person's been using it. And then the audit coordination, I was looking for just actually one person, and they're pretty pleased, so that's good. So, all right, I think that was, nope. The youth mentor program, it's got 1 good and 1 poor. And then youth mentor program, the activities that they do, they were good to fair. Youth mentor program, information and announcements and how well they're giving stuff out to people. Again, a good and a poor. I was hoping maybe I'd get more results or more people answer those questions. So.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, they don't think.
Yeah, most of them,
Yeah.
most everybody would give me an NA. I mean, I got,
Yeah.
here's all the NAs right here. I got 8 or 9 of them, so.
Did you look at the comment on that one?
Which one?
There's one.
Oh,
on
there's
there.
one comment?
Yeah,
Oh.
just to see.
Yeah. I have not contact with any of these programs.
Okay.
Okay? Okay. All right, and let's see, what professional development opportunities would benefit your district? And I got 6 responses. Oops. Go a little higher here. Better understanding of the regional services work. Technology to keep us current. PE instructional practices, teaching students with mental health trauma issues. That's huge everywhere. Engage New York math support.
That's District 7,
Yeah,
Mhm.
so.
P
Technology.
instructional. Yeah.
Technology, how to personally advance in our career. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
New data concerning classroom management and behavioral management. So, looks like there's a few of those in there. There's one up here, isn't there?
Wouldn't you think that knowing how to advance in your career would be each person's personal responsibility, not the responsibility of
Yeah,
another
but,
entity?
yeah, I would think so, but, you know, so.
Surveys are always interesting, you never.
Yeah, they are. All right, and then the last one is, if you remember last year, it is very similar to what we got last year from Lake ESD, or excuse me, from District 7. For some reason, they deem this to be their opportunity to
Brag on everything.
complain. So,
No thank yous for what's working great. I mean, just.
yeah, so we've got a number of teachers, a couple of teacher assistants, one, it looks like either 1 or 2, 3, 2, oh, 5 office personnel, and 4 administrators.
How many parents down there, that little?
1, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 1 parent. And the 1 parent is also a teacher.
Oh,
I drilled down into that one, I'm
okay.
like,
Okay.
really?
I was
Yeah.
gonna say.
And they are also a teacher, so they check 2 boxes, which taught me something else, is don't let them check the 2 boxes.
Right.
If you
Yeah,
want to be a teacher, be a teacher,
yeah.
if you want to be a parent, but don't,
that's right.
you know, so, okay, and then, so it's kind of across the board. When I first did the survey, I got just, Lakeview High School just, boom, they did it immediately, at the middle school, so those teachers were right on top of it. Quality of each program, again, same questions, special ed administrators or assistants. So, you know, they're not, I got 1 poor. The ESD speech services, fairly well
Mhm.
represented, lots of 16 goods, 7 excellents, so that was good. ESD school psychologist, 6 excellent, 9 good, 5 fair, and 3 poor, and I just wondered if these people know who our school psychologist is, because I don't know how you could rate Gianna poor.
Yeah.
So,
Or they're rating how much service they think we should
well,
get.
and that may be, you don't know what they're
Yeah,
rating, yeah.
yeah.
And here, regional autism services, consultation, so we've got a few people that I guess feel that they needed more consultation. And then the ES,
No comments?
no, 5 comments, sorry. Thank you for catching that. I don't think we have enough people to cover our growing needs. All 4 of these areas, staff is professional and go above and beyond in their positions. Any NA was marked because I am unsure who holds the role. Good, that's
Yeah.
what that's for.
Yeah.
Have never met the autism consultant, rarely see the psychologist.
there's your
So
four.
hopefully you didn't,
Yeah.
hopefully, I mean, we
Yeah,
could
that
look,
wasn't
I could look at that
connected to-
person's, I don't know who that person is, but I could look and see if they were the one that
Yeah,
did the pour.
I mean, that would be my,
Yeah, I mean, I can,
Would kind of follow.
I mean,
Yeah.
here, I'll just look and see what that person, how they voted. So that was a teacher from A.D. Hay, and they rated everything as fair, poor, and poor.
Yeah,
So they don't know that, they rarely see it, the
So
school
they did
psychologist, but
poor.
they gave them poor.
yeah, so that's exactly why those two there.
Right.
Yeah. Hmm,
So
That's too
the
bad.
person doesn't know who that person is, but they
Exactly.
gave them poor, which
That's-
I don't,
That's a curmudgeon.
Yeah.
yeah. I have never met the autism consultant. So,
Did they need to?
Well,
Weren't able to?
Yeah,
I
and is
mean,
that
it's
why
kind
you're
of-
doing
so
poor?
why would
or
you not
why
put
would you-
NA?
Yeah.
I mean, every one of these had an option of NA, so I've never
Uh-huh.
met them, so I'm gonna say NA. I don't know who they are, I don't know what they do.
they could be thinking that,
This person had a bad day, I'm just gonna say that. They had poor and a poor,
Hmm.
don't know who that is, lots of NAs, a fair, ESD coffee shop.
Yay.
Congratulations, Taylor. Way to go. They were upset about everything else, but my God, Taylor won the,
They're my favorite people.
yeah.
You get sour and staple,
Yeah.
the best of them.
Yeah.
Good job.
So, good job, Taylor. I
Okay.
get feeling excellent again.
Oh, and
Uh,
she was fair, she was nice to
fair
the
and-
mentor.
Yeah,
Good and fair.
so,
But overall, general,
Good.
just kind of like you say, a bad day.
yeah, I mean, it was interesting, because I spent quite a bit of time drilling down on a lot of these, and, yeah, it's like, come on, folks, you know, it's, yeah. Let me go back to.
it is, it's hard, but you could also, I could see that person answering that way because they hadn't had the introduction. I mean, if,
Well, yeah,
They
but-
didn't say
but-
that they've asked for it and never got it.
No, and
Yes,
why poor
that's-
then? It would be an NA, because I don't know them, but,
Right,
or I
and that was
don't
what
use
my
it. So
intention
that's-
was when
yeah.
I put out the survey,
So-
but obviously, it didn't go that way. Okay, so let me, we'll just come rush through these real quick, because they're kind of across the board like that, psychologists, regional services.
Were there any big surprises other than,
No,
I mean, it sounded like you
No.
had a couple of good surprises.
Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
So,
so.
new
um,
teacher was the same as the other
Yeah.
districts.
Well, and
Yeah, the new teacher
the poor with
mentoring,
the new teacher mentor, I can understand that because she's spread so thin this year than the past year that they probably don't feel supported, but,
yeah,
you know,
It'd be
next
interesting
year
to see if
would
there's
be.
any comments on that. That would,
yeah, we'll look at it.
How many
and
years
see.
are the new teachers mentored? Are they just the one or
We try to do it two,
two? Yeah.
yeah. And that's, I'd have to double check with Amy, but I'm pretty sure she, actually, I don't think she ever quits, I mean,
Yeah.
she'll help any of them.
Right.
Oh, I know, she's still
Yeah.
giving Stacy advice.
Yeah. And I thought this was interesting that we had 3 people say that our threat assessment system was poor. And I'm like,
How
I
do
mean,
you know that?
I have had nothing but positive accolades
Yeah.
about our threat assessment system and how Ryan's doing and the administration, the support that they're given. Nothing but positive, so, here's your comments, let's take a look.
Oh, wow.
Let's see. I was not aware that we had a new teacher mentoring program. I don't have to read to you. Well, I guess I do.
Clayton, yeah.
Clayton, okay. I'm not aware that we had a new teacher mentoring program. The new teacher I have been working with here has not mentioned a mentor program with ESD. This doesn't mean he or she has not been participating. I just thought I would know if he or she see that support at some contact point.
Boy,
Okay.
that person needs
Yeah.
some
that's-
help in sentence structure.
Well, just a little bit, I mean, yes. Threat
So we need
assessment.
some more support now.
Threat assessment coordinator makes himself available for the administrators. New teacher mentoring, it would be helpful if the mentors could meet with District 7 administrators to work out a coordinated plan to support new teachers and ask for their support and advice. Don't know who the threat assessment coordinator is. The 2 NAs did not see it happen, so I do not know how to rate it. As a new teacher, I do not recall being given a mentor. Really? Because I
Wow.
know that she has touched base with every single one
There
of
is
them.
only one mentor.
Yeah, well,
So-
and you know, and that might be
Yeah.
something that I need to maybe talk to Amy about, is that she makes that
That's what I am.
statement.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Amy, I'm gonna be mentoring you this
Yeah,
year. I'm from the
that's-
ESD, and
Yeah,
maybe that wasn't clear.
yeah.
So maybe she just thought, well, Amy's she's a really
She's
nice
just helping me out
lady.
like
Yeah,
crazy.
she
She's
just
helping me out like
out
crazy, but I don't know who that
Which is
mentor
a good
person
thing
is.
because I never got a mentor,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's right, yeah.
Well, coordinating with administration, that makes sense too. Because they may have some things that they would like her to help them
With,
do.
yeah, and I'll have to talk to Amy and see if she's touched base with the administration during the year. Internet connectivity looks pretty good. E-rate support, hopefully that's all good and positive, so kudos to Sarah. And the Khajiit hotspots, looks like people that use them there seem to be liking them. Those would all be high school, because they're not at the elementary schools. So, the high school staff seems to like them. ESD administrative support, seems to be okay. ESC truancy officer, getting mainly positives, couple pours. No, you're right, I can't get every kid to school every day. So, homeschool coordination, I was surprised to see that many that many people respond to that, because most people don't have any connection there. The administration, they would get a report every month from Taylor saying these are your people that are homeschooled and that kind of stuff. But so, ESD coffee shop,
You're rocking.
yeah, coffee shop is the way to go, right? She must be giving out lattes or something. And then the audit consultation, it looks like it's been audit coordination, which I was surprised that there would be 4 people that would be dealing with the audit. I don't know who those, actually be more than that, be what? 5 people. I don't think 5 people deal with the auditor, do they?
No, there
1, 2,
might
3,
be
4.
Well, there would be 5.
Might be, because there would be some
Office.
in-school audits that might go on.
Yeah, Janet, Amy, Patty, Will, what, Tandy?
Andy.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. So anyway, there,
And no
you-
comments on that?
oh, yeah, 3, good catch. Okay. Truancy officer has been very available and willing to help. Fast turnaround when making copies.
People pleaser, what can I say?
I
Oh,
think
yeah.
an on-campus police officer needs to come back to school grounds.
Find us the money and
where
we
did that
will
come
do
from?
it.
That's
I
long.
That might be
just had a
weird.
comment.
From all the questions, how did that get
Threat
a comment?
assessment.
Probably maybe threat
Threat
assessment
assessment.
coordinator.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Because of the behavioral
Yeah.
stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Youth mentor program looks overall
Yeah.
fairly good.
Yeah.
Same thing with the program activities, looks all good. Youth mentor program, information and announcements.
That was the same with the other districts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a couple of pours, but I know I was surprised that we had 15 people that said NA. that concerns me more than anything, is like, really? You had no knowledge of anything that the mentor program was doing?
Right.
So, it's just a conversation I can have with
Or
Leanne.
NA, because they don't associate with it, I mean, or use it. You know,
Right,
that's, yeah, what are the NAs mean?
I received no information regarding mentor program other than what it is in the newspaper after the fact. Okay, I think it is very important for students to have a mentor, and this program has been very successful with some of my students.
Good.
Okay, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
What professional development, now this is District 7. More content specific, such as going to a social studies conference. Professional development would benefit our district more if our building administrator would attend the same trainings as teachers, so they understand that what their staff is encouraged or required to do. So there's a perfect example of them complaining about their own administrative staff that has nothing to do with the ESD. I'm sorry. I mean, I can relay that information because somebody had a concern about this, but this is not the survey for that. Let's see, having more supportive staffing for SPED qualifications, more speech support, and additional support with a specialized autism behavior person to spend more time with behavioral issues. So, and we're going to be working on that. Sammy is getting her autism specialization, and so she'll be done with that in December. So the latter half of next year, she'll be able to start working in that area, and then she'll be our sole consultant the following year.
So that second one, a special ed teacher that gets along with staff and students, communications with the aide so that they know what our student weaknesses and strengths are, so they can help the students more effectively.
Yeah. I mean, we
don't know who that is.
we don't know who that is. I mean, I would be curious.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I know that the only ESD person we have is Sammy, and she only works at the union.
Yeah.
And so I guess I could look at that one and see if it's a union person, because then that would correctly relate to Sammy. But I think, again, they're talking about their own staff.
Yeah.
I don't think it's ours.
That's-
Technology classes, building relationships with students and community. Okay, and we're offering one of those this year. Right after school's out, we're gonna be offering Google Classroom. So it'll be interesting to see how many of them attend that. Let's see, professional development opportunities that would benefit district would include but not limited to differentiation of instruction and general education teacher responsibility for special education students that are in their classroom, out to implement and support IEP students in classrooms. Okay?
That's a pretty good suggestion.
Yeah, so that might be something we can talk about, is what supports or what ideas can we give them,
Yeah.
so.
I know District 7 has requested training on poverty,
Yeah.
and that's pretty
Right.
close to.
Well,
And
the
the other thing is trauma-informed
the
practices.
ACES program, what,
Yeah.
and that would be, professional development. and
Right.
recognizing.
And trauma-informed practices is a huge
Yes.
buzzword right now that's going around. And they're not talking about necessarily, I got hit in the head, I got trauma that way.
No,
It's
and they're
more
doing that
emotional.
ACEs,
Yeah,
and what your baggage you brought from
Right,
birth on, and how many points in that, and
Yep.
can affect how you,
yeah,
how you're gonna react in school or learn, so,
Right.
so that is the last couple of years.
It would be great to have some STEM, STEAM, science, art, creative workshops and or support for hands-on science and engineering at the elementary level. So that might be something to look at.
Yeah,
Technology training for use in classroom, that is one we're gonna be doing. Math teachers attending National Conference of Teacher of Mathematics, which that would be more of a conversation between them and their principal.
yeah.
Opportunities to further coordinate standards with our curriculum and time to do it. Don't have any way of controlling that as an ESD. Question mark, that's always helpful.
Yeah.
not sure how I'd respond to that one, but more trainings for paraprofessionals, and I would absolutely have to agree with that one. I think that is one area that education, that we do not do justice to our paraprofessionals in giving them training that they need to have, or should have. Special education's professional development. Interesting on that one, because I know that District 7 sends their special ed teachers to the state, the conference in Eugene or in October. And I'm sure that they would be giving them any other that they wanted, so. Subject-specific professional development, writing and reading, work sample training. We've done that how many times this year? 3, 4? We've invited all staff from all the districts to come here. The last time Amy did it, she had 2 people from North Lake, or 1 from Paisley, 1 from North Lake.
Are they
come down.
getting the information out in
Oh,
each
yeah.
of their schools?
Yeah, she's giving it to them, so, yeah, we did work sample training, or work sample, stuff here, so. And I'm not sure who Craig Conrad of Colorado is, but maybe I need to look him up. More training for special ed aides,
Yeah.
That's,
paraprofessionals. Would like to find funding to pay teachers to provide mentoring for young teachers
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
So, and that used to be a thing,
Yeah.
where you would get,
Yeah.
I was teachers would be able to become the mentor,
Mhm.
and they would give you a stipend and that kind of stuff for doing that.
That was a popular program.
It was. Personality temperament types training to help understand motivating students. I've done that.
Mhm.
It's interesting. I don't know how it helped me, other than maybe understand myself better. So, but, yeah.
That was a
So,
pretty good comment, actually. That was,
yeah.
that gave us some.
So I wasn't, as I went through and I drilled down into theirs, and there was a ton of people that didn't answer some of the questions and stuff, and there was quite a few negative, just, the person was just negative across the board. But overall, I mean, I think it's definitely it's better than it was last year. We got a lot more of, goods greats and goods, so that was good, so. All right, and that is everything on the survey results. Put the lights there and see. Okay. And then you all got this here in your packets, so, and then we'll go into executive session and talk about that more.
Car bids, ESD car bids.
Okay, so the Subaru just topped over 200,000 miles. And we do not want that to leave the county anymore, at 200,000+. And we have 100,000 miles on the Equinox. We have, as you can see down at the bottom of that page there, in your information, we've got $29,787 in our cash account for a new car. And looking at the costs and all those different kinds of things, we would still have $7,000 in the account for repairs and those kinds of things. All those funds are replenished from costs to programs when they, the special ed teacher drives someplace and back. The cost of that is charged to that program. And so that's where those funds come. We sent out RFPs to 13 different car companies or agencies or.
Just Subaru though?
No, we sent out to Subaru, Ford,
I see.
Chevrolet, did I put them all there? Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Subaru, Toyota, Chevrolet, Ford, and Volkswagen. And this is all we got back. And I was really disappointed that I even called, we sent one to Halls.
Yeah.
I called them a week before the bids were due and said, hey, haven't seen anything from you, just checking to see if you were gonna send us anything and stuff. And the lady I talked to, I got a fairly positive response from her, and we did not get anything from Halls.
Wow.
So, and I know we bought the Equinox from them, so it wasn't uncommon, I mean,
Yeah.
so anyway, so we did not get anything from local, which I was disappointed, so. So anyway, so looking at all the different bids and things, Sarah and I, we arm wrestled numerous times over Subaru versus Toyota. She won, and basically looking at the features of the Forester, all of the vehicles were all-wheel drive, but the Forester has limited slip differentials, which in the snow, that would be a real positive. Also, I found out from Sarah yesterday that the Forester has a timing chain, which I absolutely wanted,
Not timing belt.
but it's
Some
not.
foresters,
Oh, some Foresters?
some foresters.
Okay,
My forester.
your Forester, okay. Okay, well, anyway, hopefully it has one, but it very well may have. And then also, I like the size of the Forester. It's a little bit larger, kind of like the Equinox, so when we do like the budget committee dinners and that kind of stuff, and we transport all that food and everything, we've got room in the back to put stuff.
Well, and you've
The
got
miles
room
per
around.
gallon was not any better on the smaller, the cross-check or the, what was the other small Subaru? Impreza.
Impressive.
Impressive, that was like, it was not any difference.
That's what
in-
they gave me for traveling in my program to go up in Christmas Valley in the snow.
In the snow.
And I was talking to him about a Forester and I got the Impreza,
Yeah,
which is like this far off the
right,
ground.
and that was the other, yeah, the Forester
it's-
was
You
up.
couldn't
is-
do up north, yeah,
Yeah, and that was the other reason we looked at the Forester, because it has a
Yes.
higher wheelbase.
yes,
And that way Mike, because Mike can only take the Equinox up north,
oh, yeah,
because he bottoms out the Subaru all the time.
yeah,
So,
going into the roads, yeah.
yeah. So, anyway, you can look through all the different information there I got and kind of how we made our, how we made our decision, looking at different places. But, the Wilsonville
Nice.
Subaru, and, that's not a big deal. I go up to Woodburn all the time, that's where my mother-in-law lives. And so, it won't be a problem to go up and
You'll
purchase-
test run
purchase
it on
it
the
and-
way back down.
Well,
huh? Try
I
it
told,
out.
I told Sarah that, you know, I was hesitant to drive the Subaru all the way across the state, because, you know, being a redneck, kinda, just, you know, I didn't know if I would be able to do that, so. But I told her I might put on a mask or something like that, you know, or, you know, to drive across the
It's a
state.
pretty amazing price for 20,
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
24,000.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's got wheels and everything.
it does, yeah, it does. I can't say it has a spare, but I will say it does have
Yeah,
four
yeah.
to start out with.
good
Yeah.
size.
And these
yeah.
are new vehicles, they're not.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
new, so,
Is the Forester bigger than the Outback?
yes.
Okay.
Oh, is
Yes.
it?
And the Outback does not have the limited slip differentials. So,
And then is Wilsonville and Lithia, what are they? Are they,
no, they're their own. Wilsonville Subaru is Wilsonville Subaru. They're not
but
part
we
of
could
it.
get it serviced in Klamath
You can have a
Falls.
service fault at any Subaru dealer.
I
yeah.
bet John could probably do it too.
Yeah, I don't know. It would just be a matter of finding out from the, if John is a,
Yeah,
you know, a light, is he?
to keep the warranty
Yeah, is he
and stuff,
is he a
yeah.
warranty
Yeah,
agency?
yeah.
And I think that Halls is, I would assume as a dealership, they'd be able to do warranty service.
Yeah.
But I know they don't like to work on Subarus, isn't that right, Sarah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
They're not certified.
Who do you take yours to?
Yeah.
Well, now I take it to Lapine.
Yeah. But they just, nobody in town wants to, there's a million of them in town, but nobody in town wants to work on them, so.
We do
Or I
oil
should-
changes here.
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
just the major maintenance, we have to take it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Not to Klamath.
No, I think the Klamath one is under new management, so it's probably better than it was.
yeah, they have the Honda and the
I
Subaru
know,
over there.
yeah. I didn't hear good things about them how many ever years ago, so,
There's lots of Klamath Falls dealer stories.
yeah.
Oh, another thing that was positive about the Sub was, it is a 5-star crash rating. The only 4-star it had was for a rollover crash. It was a 4-star instead of a 5-star. It also, this one has the front impact, sensor.
Oh, yeah.
So it will start to apply brakes
Mhm.
before you.
Slow you
So if you
down,
hit the
yeah.
big rock in the parking lot, it'll stop.
Right.
Yeah, well, yeah. You start- If they see anything in front of you,
Good
they'll
calls,
automatically brake.
Yeah, so I mean, which would be good if a deer jumped out in front of you, that it would
Yeah.
hopefully maybe, slow it down by a few miles per hour and not destroy it, so. Not that we would ever have deer jump out in front of us,
Yeah.
maybe Clayton would, but, yeah. So anyway, so that, I'll be looking at,
Great.
if you have any questions, I,
I
happy to
think it's
answer
a
them.
good choice.
So,
I'm, yeah, for that kind of money, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you need a
Okay.
vote on that? or-
we have it down in the action item.
Oh, okay, I
think,
didn't see
don't we?
it down
Oh,
there.
yeah,
No,
actually,
you,
we
I don't
no,
see
you
it there.
don't,
Oh.
you don't. That's why I'm asking, should it be
Yes.
5.4?
5.4, yes.
Okay,
I apologize.
because that, no, that's okay, I was asking, because I thought, we just
Yes,
talk about
no.
it now and do it later, or?
No, we would,
And they have this vehicle in stock and all that?
yes, they have, their statement was
Do you
there.
get a choice of colors, or
No. No,
what color
you would-
does it come in?
The one they're offering us,
White.
Yeah.
White with black, is that it?
Do they make white suits?
yeah.
I've seen old white ones, but I guess new ones. I haven't
Yeah,
seen.
so
They're all gray.
This
I'm
is
just
just,
thinking of like a pearlescent.
it is what you
Maybe
see there.
so.
I mean, and the one that is there in the picture, I think was white,
Okay.
which most likely, if it was a fleet type
Yeah,
vehicle, it would be
yeah.
white.
I guess I
Okay,
can look
that's-
at
okay.
the color.
No, that's okay, I was just
You have the
teasing,
color
you get a
version of
choice,
that
because then you guys gotta figure out the color, right? That's a whole new
Yeah.
other thing.
This
Yeah.
one looks like grayish.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, it kinda does,
seems to
doesn't it?
be a popular color this year.
But then
Okay.
the one on the back is white. So,
So,
My color's that
surprise.
car's that kind of gray, silver kind of color. I love that. You put a lot of dirt on it before you start to
Yes.
notice.
Yeah.
A lot of road grime and stuff and it
I
doesn't
remember
look
when the
ugly.
Subaru was the brand new car.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that doesn't seem that long ago, huh? Yeah.
Sammy,
Okay.
or, Sammy loves that car. It's kind of her car. It's the one she always drives.
Okay.
Okay.
First reading of the board policies?
So mother-friendly workplace, we don't have, we don't employ 25 more or more employees, but we said it was a good idea just to have, have a policy on it anyway.
So-
Just so that,
If you have the policy on that, what is the room that you designate for?
right, we don't have in the past, they've used the corner office, okay? And we talked about that one again, because that one has a different lock on that door that actually we only have one key. And what we talked about earlier is that the mom could go in, grab the key off the key rack, go in and lock it.
So she has. to-
So she knows that nobody's gonna use their door key to
Okay.
open it up.
Yeah, okay,
And so
good.
that's what we
Oh,
talked
this is for
about.
like
Good.
nursing and,
Yeah,
This is for nursing, yeah,
Yeah.
for
Okay.
pumping or nursing. So,
okay, good, good.
so the difference between the gray and the white is what the state sent me. They basically said delete that and give you this.
Right.
So that's what I was trying to show.
Okay. And then the red is,
It was basically to choose or not to choose, and then Jack went over it and was choosing the words as well.
So I went through and I just crossed out all the brackets
Yeah.
and said,
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead and use those.
Yeah.
so red means yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. And the last part on that policy of GBDA, the last sentence there says, this policy only applies to employees who are expressing milk or breastfeeding for children 18 months of age or younger. I am not gonna be the one to tell you whether you can continue to breastfeed or not breastfeed or what age that has to happen. So I crossed that out.
I think that's what.
So
Yes, yes.
if you guys wanna overrule me, that's
Yes,
your right,
no,
you're
no.
welcome to do
That's
that,
good.
but I'm gonna
Yeah.
call you and have you come explain it to
Yeah,
me, because
to the mama.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
That is a personal choice and none of my business. So,
Both of us, husband and father of two girls. Okay.
the next one is with just adhering to the law as far as the infection of AIDS, HIV, or HBV. HBV, I had to, it says in here, where was that? I had to look it up.
Q-
Hepatitis B
Virus,
virus, I think that's what it is.
really?
Yes, it's down at the bottom.
Is that what it is? There it is, hepatitis B virus, yeah, I knew I found it someplace, so. So nothing startling in that policy. This is, they have a right to continue working and treat them like anybody else. And this one doesn't as an ESD, we don't really have any students. Where a lot of ESDs do have special programs where they have kids in their buildings and stuff, so it would apply to them, but it's still, there's no reason we can't have it. But it basically just means we have to follow whatever court order is for the child. If mom has custody, then we have to follow that court order, so. And next one, GBNA, is hazing, harassment, intimidation, bullying, menacing staff. Again, it's just that we will not tolerate any of those things. So, Clayton, you're gonna have to quit picking on me, so, yeah.
I think that's for Dale.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So they took out students, cause there's one for students, is that?
Yes, there's a
Okay.
separate policy for students. Yeah. Yep. All right, and then the next one is the same policy, it's just an AR. Just kind of describes who third parties are, describes who ESDs are, describes what harassment is, describes what intimidation is.
You've gone through it,
Yeah, I've gone through and.
Made the changes, yeah.
Yeah, made the changes on that, just erased the parentheses and stuff.
Yeah.
brackets.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't have any teen dating, we don't allow that. But again, this would be one that we don't necessarily have to adopt, but it is, it's recommended because it's, if, it's good to have the policy in place, if we were to ever create a program,
Right.
we would have those things available
Oh,
or
we
have
don't
it
need
on.
it, cause we're ESD, cause it says required.
Right, it's required, yes, but I'm saying is, we don't have any
Right.
students or any programs right now, so essentially, we're adopting it for future use if we ever have those programs. Yeah, it is required, but it's, we won't use it,
Right, not just, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
so. And then, of course, there's the AR that just goes through and describes what everything is. So see what these folks go to.
Thank
And that
you for
is
doing
your
all those
policy.
corrections
Yeah.
and everything, and before we got it, it really saves a lot of reading time and. Okay, we're at 3.4, 2019-20 year non-licensed staff COLA proposal.
With this, yep. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, okay.
That way.
Just you.
We'll share. I've got one.
Okay,
Yeah, you guys have to share those ice cream.
If I can get out of here
I got
without
sugar
getting
rush
one
in
of
the
those, I
pool.
would
No, I
consider
know,
it
I.
personal victory.
so we've already gone through the class, or the certified staff, but we have not talked about classified and confidential staff. And so, I'm asking that we provide them a 3% COLA for this year. And you can see there, sort of broke it down as far as the cost. It'd be $8,800, and that does work in our budget. for this next year. It's not, it's definitely feasible. And then the other is the insurance. And insurance is gonna be all over the place this year. I don't know if you've seen any of the emails that came through. Some of them are getting 10, 12% increases. It was 15, I think is the highest one. It's nuts. So some of our staff may see as much as $100 a month increase in their costs. So we're asking 25. We do have some staff that are not taking the insurance and stuff, so I'm being conservative at 25. I would be willing to entertain more if the board deemed it, but I just want you guys to kind of know where we're at right now. I want to try and stay competitive. And then also with this, on a second note, is if the budget comes in like I'm crossing my fingers and it's 9 point such, more billion, and if there is an influx of funds, that I would like to be able to come back to the board and do a larger increase for our classified staff, because we did a very large increase for our certified staff this year. I'd like to be able to come close to meeting that, or matching that with our classified staff. This keeps us within budget right now with the current, we budgeted at 8.9, or 8.9? 8.9.
Yeah, the governor's, yeah.
Okay, so we budgeted at 8.9, and so there's potential we're gonna have additional funds come in, and I'll come back and, if it happens, I'll come back and talk to you folks, but,
That'd be good.
Yeah.
so,
We increased certified because we added that speech, is that what we did?
yeah, yeah.
How much more would we need to do here to?
I don't know exactly, I haven't done the math for it yet. I would like to see about a 6%, I think would be a very nice raise for the classified staff.
You mean after this
Yeah,
3%, if it came
If
back,
it
you
came
want
back, and
another 6?
I would, no, I would
Another
request another
3.
3, yes.
That's what I was clarifying.
Yes,
Yep,
yeah,
okay.
I would request another 3 if it comes back where we can do it.
And that would be then just 16,000, 17,000.
Correct,
500, okay.
yeah, or close thereabouts. Because as you increase your wages, then your purse goes up and then
Right.
that kind of stuff, so.
Good old purse.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Discussion?
I'm wondering if, when do we don't have insurance renewal figures for a while?
They sent out a letter so that we could see percentage increases, because this year is really weird. They're doing a realignment of the plans. In past years, they had incentivized a coordinated care management plan by making it cost 10% less than our statewide PPO plans. But now they're finding that the plans actually cost the same. And so the people who are paying for the plan should be paying the right cost.
Right.
So the people who are on the network that's the coordinated care, they're the ones seeing the 10 and 15% increases. The ones who are on the statewide plans are seeing some reductions. But it's not like I can go across the board and say there's going to be a 5% increase.
Right.
So some people will have $100 or more increase, and other people will have, I don't know, $50 decrease, just depending on what plan they're on. So. But and that $3,500 for the cost of the insurance cap, that is max. That doesn't include the people who opt out. They get half of the cap. That $3,500 assumes that everybody is taking insurance.
Right.
So it'll be less than that because not the
Yeah,
others.
4 or 5 people opt out.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Down to the OAESD Spring Conference.
just one double check, Jim, you're still going?
Mhm.
Okay, I don't know if anybody else was interested in going, but Jim has typically been the representative for our ESD.
It's a fun time.
Yeah, I just have another training that week.
Yeah, I can't go that weekend either, but,
So,
It's not, it's during the week.
Yeah.
They quit having it over the weekend.
well, the Friday.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's on a Friday.
Friday, and it's Friday, doesn't it? Jack,
Mhm.
it ends on
Yeah.
Friday instead of Saturday like it usually is.
Right. So I just wanted to throw that out there and give one more option before Jim and I go have fun together.
Mhm.
Thank you for going.
Yeah. OSBA summer camp for school board,
Anybody-
July.
Anybody interested in spending part of your July at a board meeting? Board
Is it
camp?
event again? Yeah. It's a good thing. I just, no, thank you.
Information.
Might bring this up, Jack, at our school board meeting. I wouldn't mind taking a couple of our newer people,
Okay.
something like that. I think it'd be good for
It's
them.
really good for new board members.
Yeah,
I got a lot out of it.
yeah, I went with.
Yes, I'll
Get that.
give you a reminder.
Cause it's not that far away, it's been
Yeah,
Yeah,
a few days.
Get that
I went
tomorrow.
with Judy. and Judy's
yeah,
here.
it was good.
Yeah,
Good
board
training,
packet.
yeah. Okay. Board nominee.
Okay, so you've got, well, let's see here, this not get on here?
Yeah, that was the first one, that was the spring conference.
Oh, that was the spring,
Yeah.
okay. So now I got that. Okay, this is your information about your chair-elect nominee. There is one person on the ballot, and so I need to know if you guys want to vote for that one person.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Where is Horton, Oregon?
What is it, Horton?
Same thing.
Horton. She's from Horton, Oregon, and I
Never heard of it.
have never heard of that. I'm
Good
a native
question.
Oregonian.
I've never heard of Horton either. I mean, I've heard of Horton as a who.
Yeah,
Never.
yes.
Or-
Oh, he's kickboxing,
Yeah.
wow.
You must have to.
Yeah.
So just make sure
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
we write that in and then make sure Vicky signs that. Okay,
Wow.
okay, and then,
The nursing services.
okay, so, I gave you you had a copy in your packet, but I gave you an additional one because I sent it to the OSBA lawyers and they sent it back with some, thought changes. So the things that you see in underlined are different than the one that you have in your packets. And these are the suggestions from the OSBA lawyer. Basically what we're looking at with this is in bringing on some nursing services with the hospital, it's gonna cost us $14,400 or less for 12 months. It'll give us one person, 1 day a week. And Charlie has expressed to me that if we can get this going and get it in place, and he has a program with the hospital where he gets reimbursed for services that they render. But he can't just bring a person into a district and provide services. He has to have a reason that they're there. And so this would give him that foothold into the buildings, and he thinks within a year, maybe two, that he could pay the remainder of this and make it a full-time person, because they would be able to charge back to this, whatever this fund is, for the services that they would be providing. So, I don't know, but this would at least give us a foot in the door. This is something that the superintendents we've had long conversations about this. We don't have anybody in Lake County right now that we can call, hey, I've got a kid, I think they've got ringworm, or they got something weird going on, or
Measles.
I got, look at, we don't have anybody that we have on call. This person will be able to help with our, eye exams, with hearing, well, the hearing screenings we don't do with our speech folks, but those kinds of things. So we're just looking to have that availability that we really don't have now.
And we can't call
So-
the county, the health, or,
Well, you can call them for, individual things like that, like maybe a question about something.
yeah.
But there are kids that have questions about medical issues, or have questions
they
about,
wanna go in and talk privacy,
that have questions about contraceptives, or
Yeah.
whatever, that they might, that they maybe feel better talking to a nurse.
Isn't it one of
So-
the from public health persons, people that are gonna be doing this at the school?
That's
It's
what I
my
meant was public health,
understanding,
okay.
yeah,
I don't know who the
Yeah.
individual would be yet.
yeah.
They already have
Okay.
the person on staff, I know.
Yeah,
They would just
okay,
be-
yeah, but I mean, that's where they're drawing, because they
Yeah.
are under the hospital now.
Right, they're
Okay.
coming from the hospital, and I'm not,
Yeah,
I don't know how they separate it apart now,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that'd give kids access.
Yeah, will they
to
go to the
direct
school or do
possibly.
you have to be called?
No, they would go
hang
to the
out there.
school, so once a week, they will make the rounds of, you know, like maybe this week they'll be in District 7, next week they'll run up to North Lake, following week they'll run over to Plush or Paisley, and, you know, and Adel, and, you know, spend a day there, those kinds of things, so.
Do you have a job description yet?
At the last page, it talks about what the duties,
Okay.
and what they would be doing.
Where does it say that?
No,
Oh,
that's
I was missing.
Exhibit A.
Okay. E is kind of what I was wondering about.
So we're just reading Exhibit
Interested
A.
to see how it goes, because I could see some parents just,
Mhm.
when in fact, when I believe you're 14, you can deny, you can say, I don't want to do this,
Mhm.
I don't want this medical treatment. When you're 15, you can get medical treatment and it's confidential
Right.
Mhm.
from a parent, so
Mhm.
be interesting to see how it goes over.
Yeah, and I don't think, the intention is that's not for this to be medical treatment. It's more helping direct them, you know.
Yeah, like
to get-
triage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thing.
more of a triage kind of thing. Help them get to where they need to be, get the services they need, answer questions of the staff, make sure all of our paperwork is up to date and according to, you know, state law as far as immunizations and those kinds of things.
You're
So-
right though. With the
It's,
younger
it's,
ages.
this is a foot in the door.
Mhm.
And I mean, there's a part of me that just wonders, is that our role to,
I
I
would,
mean-
more schools are doing it now.
having a school nurse is very common
right,
in schools.
yeah. Well, it was, I mean, I can remember when I had a school nurse. I think it's gonna be hard for people to get used to.
It also used to be, you know, you were under your parents' care until you were 18.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now you've got
You
half
have
of your
parents that would
school.
say, well, what'd you guys talk about? And they're gonna say, well, I can't tell you.
Mhm. Yeah,
And, you know, it's just hard for people
accept that.
to get used to it
Yeah.
sometimes,
Mhm.
so.
Any questions or comments? Okay, executive session ORS 192.6602 to review and evaluate